even when I was a high school junior. And part of it was a week-long trip to our state capital. We stayed with host families, and that week was transformative for me. I realized the power of government to do good for people, and so I credit BOCES for putting me on this journey here today. So, and also our county executive. Always great to be back in Monroe County here often.
Yep.
And delighted with your leadership, especially as we embrace this brave new world we're entering into in the next couple of weeks. So I appreciate your assistance with getting the word out to families. The dean of our site delegation, Harry Bronson, has joined us. Where's Harry sitting? Okay. Thank you very much for joining us, and been an advisor of mine since I was back in the early days in Congress, and so we go way back. I mean, I was proud to represent the Spencerport area. It was part of my congressional district. And Josh Jensen, a New York State Assembly member, thank you for joining us. I know this is an important issue to you and your constituents, so I appreciate you being here very much. Well, the reason we're here, home stretch, everybody. You know what I've done. Going on 2 years of traveling every corner of the state to have conversations about what is happening to our children. And what I saw was young people under enormous stress from pressure and, still coming out of the pandemic. And any adult who thinks our young people are over the pandemic, you're assessing the situation wrongly, because when you talk to teenagers, they remember how scary it was and paralyzing it was, and remote education for however long it was, that had a lingering effect on them. We think about, we got through it. It was a few years. Well, when you're very young, that couple of years is a big percentage of your life, the time you've been here. So it's real. So that took a psychological effect. But also, I've learned that there's a through line between when cell phones were allowed in schools and we had social media algorithms that were addictive. It goes back about a decade. And the rise of mental health challenges, whether it's anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts among our students. The trend line is parallel, the two of them going up at the same time. And so, as New York's first mom governor, and did these roundtables and listened to young people, and when one young woman said we have to, we know we should put them down. We know it's we're being held captive, and we can't really break from the clutches of this. But we cannot be the only one. We cannot be the first. We'll be ostracized forever. And parents didn't want to be the ones to be the only one who said, "You're leaving your cell phone home. You're not going to school." And it was even for the pressure on school boards and school districts. They've got enough to worry about. This would be a tough initiative to put forth. And so I heard from young people asking me to help them. And I heard from school districts and school superintendents and our teachers who are on the front lines of this and dealing with the challenge of competing with TikTok dance videos when they're trying to teach math class. And they knew they were losing the battle. So this whole confluence of forces where it rose up, and I realized, I'm the only one who can do something of consequence here. And I'm willing to go into the line of fire and be one of the very first states to have a full declaration that we'll have distraction-free schools, no cell phones, no Apple Watches, no earbuds, for the duration of the school day, bell to bell. And we did a lot of research, a lot of work, a lot of preparation, and I feel that we're ready. And part of it was to make sure that our school districts showed us their plan, show us that you're ready for this. And so we have a deadline, a little past. And I'm proud to announce that of the 1,100 school districts, including BOCES and charter schools, which were not in our earlier calculations, we're closing in on that, about 940. And I went to bed last night, it was 920. So the numbers are ticking up. Okay. Even adults like to procrastinate, but some have a good excuse because they had to announce this at their earlier meetings, and then the next meeting might not be till later in August. And so, they've asked for some grace period there. So we get it. But by and large, the school districts are responding. They've done a lot of outreach with the parents and hopefully the students. And I also have one more message for the parents. This is going to be a huge transition for your children. Enormous. I mean, if you're a smoker one day and the next day you don't have a pack of cigarettes, that's a rough time for you. So the addictive properties of our social media algorithms, which we've now banned social media companies from blasting this out against our children, but it's still occurring. And so I would suggest that parents try to talk to each other, find strategies. One school superintendent told me that in his own household, they have cell phone free Mondays in their family over the summer just to get the kids used to it. And because guess what? My teenagers are actually playing board games. I didn't know they knew how. And they're already seeing different things happen. Teenagers are like, maybe they're fighting once in a while. I grew up in a big family with a lot of conflict, but they're talking to each other, they're communicating, they're making eye contact, they're communicating at dinner time. So that lost art of communication at home and in our schools is something we're going to restore. And I guarantee 1 year from now, we're going to have a healthier student body across the state of New York. And ultimately, when they emerge into society, graduating from high school, they'll be more highly functioning adults. They'll be able to work in groups and collaboratively, and they won't be these people that are challenged with social interaction because they've spent their entire 4 years or career in school staring at a cell phone. And that's what we're breaking into, and that is going to be a challenge. I hope other states will follow our lead in what we're doing, and being New York the way we are, we're always bold. We're not the first, but I think we'll be the first big state. And I do believe that this is going to be a transformational opportunity for us. And the next generations of students coming up will never, ever know this challenge of having the cell phones in schools and this distraction all day long when their job there is to learn and to learn how to interact with other students and certainly their teachers. So I believe we've gotten to the right place. I appreciate the legislature for standing with us in this. It is a challenge, and I will lastly say this. Expect disruptions the first few days. I mean, guarantee. People aren't sure what to do. Where do they go? Where do the students go? How long is it going to take to get in line to have, however each school district individually set forth their plan for basically keeping them out of students' hands, whether it's a locking mechanism, a yonder pouch, or putting them on designated shelves. It's going to take a transition time. So cut everybody some slack. Be aware this is coming. Be patient, and we'll get through this. And as others have gone first, other counties, superintendents or school superintendents have told me, the first few months are tough. But then all of a sudden there's full compliance. People are used to it. And he hears that sound of laughter and kids' voices again in the hallways, which they've not heard for years. And so that's what we're striving for here. And so I want to first acknowledge our school superintendent for his remarks. Thank you again for being a leader in this. I do believe that we'll be judged at this moment in what we're doing now, judged by future people who'll say everybody who stood up and were involved in making this happen successfully are part of transforming our children's lives, and that's what you do here at BOCES every day. So thank you, Dr. Putnam.
So on behalf of Monroe 2 Orleans BOCES, we're really honored to have Governor Hochul with us today, so thank you for being here. We appreciate the governor's continued focus on supporting students, school faculty and staff, as well as our families and greater communities. As school leaders, we acknowledge that smartphones and internet-connected devices can be a distraction, and we already know it's been a distraction for driving. There are laws around that, whether you're working, but especially in classrooms. And so some data points, we've continued to look at as we plan for this. Teens ages 13 to 17 report being on social media about 5 hours a day. 55% of students nationally reported experience some form of cyberbullying over a year. And I have a 7-year-old at home. The one that threw me off was between 2015 and 2021, so a little older data, the U.S. experienced a 20% increase of 8-year-olds with a cell phone. So I will let my 7-year-old know he's not getting a cell phone next year. So we know that smartphones and devices are everywhere these days, and while they connect us, they can also make it difficult to focus and stay on task. Our teachers and students know firsthand how phones can pull attention away from learning, break up conversations, sometimes even hurt grades and emotional well-being. And with this new law, we're hoping to make our schools and classrooms a place where students can really pay attention, work together, and build strong connections, as the governor talked about with laughter in the hallways. And personally, I'm excited to hear from our roundtable participants and continue these important conversations. And as much as it pains me to say, as the school year starts in just about 3 weeks. So thank you very much again for the opportunity here, Governor.
Thank you.
do have a student with us.